Revolutionary greetings, comrades. Zimbabweans are to take to the streets end of this month. The leader of the war veterans, Gezi, has announced that he will lead a march and is calling all Zimbabweans to participate in the demonstration against the President Emerson Mnangagwa. But in this video, we are not discussing what the leader of the war veterans yet said, but we are discussing what the Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe is saying in its statement published on the 19th of March 2025. It says, ATU's calls for nationwide strike action demanding quarterly cost of living adjustment. The Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, ATUs, is calling on all teachers to down tools on 28 March 2025 in response to the government's failure to review salaries in line with the rising cost of living. For years, the government has maintained a tradition of reviewing civil servant salaries quarterly. However, as the first quarter of 2025 comes to an end on 31st March, the employer has completely ignored all calls for a salary adjustment. Teachers continue to enjoy extreme financial hardships while their salaries remain stagnant. Currently, the lowest paid teacher earns around $300, an amount that fails to cover basic necessities such as education, healthcare, and accommodation. ATUS maintains that teachers should earn a minimum of $1,260, a wage that can only be achieved through consistent and meaningful salary adjustments. The government also continues to undermine genuine collective bargaining by negotiating through the National Joint Negotiating Council, an unconstitutional platform dominated by yellow unions that do not represent the real interests of workers. These co-opted leaders receive incentives to suppress civil servants' demands, leaving teachers without a legitimate voice in salary negotiations. ATUS argues all teachers to bypass these compromised unions and confront the employer directly through mass action. The 28th March strike is an opportunity for teachers to unite and demand fair wages without interference. Some teachers have expressed the concern that the strike coincides with the war veterans' call for President Mnangagwa's resignation. ATUS remains non-partisan and firmly focused on the economic welfare of teachers. Our fight is for their wages regardless of who is in power. History has shown that leadership changes do not automatically translate to better wages for teachers. After the removal of Robert Mugabe in 2017, teachers' salaries continued to decline. It is therefore critical to demand a fair wage now from Mnangagwa and from any future leader. Zimbabwe's economic crisis is rooted in corruption and mismanagement. ATUS knows the widespread allegations of corruption against government officials, particularly those involved in illicit wealth accumulation, the so-called Zwingananda. We call upon law enforcement agencies to conduct full investigations and hold on culprits accountable. Teachers will only receive fair wages when national resources are properly managed. While ATUS recognizes the ongoing governance crisis, we do not endorse simply replacing Mnangagwa with another leader. Instead, we call for a transitional authority to dismantle Zimbabwe's neo-colonial state and establish a people-centered government. Elections should only be held after institutional reforms to ensure that state institutions are free from military influence. ATUS demands an immediate salary review before 28 March 2025. If the government fails to meet this demand, teachers across the country will stage mass action to express their frustration and demand justice. Enough is enough. Teachers deserve a living wage. As I've said, that is a statement from ATUS published on the 19th or issued on the 19th of March 2025. We stand in solidarity with the teachers in Zimbabwe. In fact, we stand in solidarity with all workers in Zimbabwe, and we call that workers from other sectors of the economy should join in this demonstration, in this strike by members of our tools. An injury to one is an injury to all. Amandla, comrades.